Ladies and gentlemen, let me start by telling you something that might shake you a little bit. Availability does not guarantee success, but value will always create demand. Too many people are busy trying to be everywhere for everyone all the time. They say yes to every request. They show up to every opportunity. They make themselves constantly accessible, but accessibility without value is nothing more than noise. The truth is, you don't get paid for being present. You get paid for being powerful. You don't get rewarded for showing up. You get rewarded for showing up prepared with something to offer that nobody else can. Value is what separates those who achieve greatness from those who settle for mediocrity, because being present is not enough if your presence doesn't bring transformation. Many people spend their lives making themselves available to everyone and everything, saying yes to every opportunity, every request, and every demand, but availability without value makes you ordinary. It makes you easily replaceable because there is no scarcity in being accessible. The world doesn't celebrate people who are always present. It celebrates people who bring something rare, something powerful, and something that cannot be ignored. Your goal in life is not to be everywhere at once, but to be so valuable that wherever you are, your presence matters and your contribution leaves a mark. The person who spends their time trying to be seen by everyone often forgets to work on themselves in a way that makes them unforgettable. Being everywhere without depth is like a voice shouting in a crowded room. It blends into the noise. But when you invest in yourself, sharpen your skills, and develop your expertise, your voice carries weight and authority. People will not just notice you, they will seek you out. That is the power of value. When you shift your focus from being accessible to being exceptional, you go from chasing opportunities to attracting them. The marketplace rewards rarity, and the only way to be rare is to be valuable in a way others are not. Being valuable means you are not defined by how much time you give, but by how much transformation you bring. The person who values themselves will not settle for being available to every distraction or every demand that comes their way. They understand that availability without boundaries diminishes their worth. Diamonds are valuable not because they are always accessible, but because they are refined, rare, and require effort to obtain. The same is true for your life. The more you refine yourself, the more you work on your craft, your character, and your vision, the more people will recognize your worth. Availability is easy. Value requires effort, commitment, and intentional growth. Many people confuse business with productivity, thinking that being constantly available makes them important. In reality, it often makes them less impactful because their energy is scattered and their focus is diluted. To become truly valuable, you must prioritize your growth over your availability. You must dedicate time to study, training, and building expertise. The most successful people in the world are not those who are always present, but those who are highly effective in the few spaces they occupy. They are deliberate about their time because they know their value comes from preparation, discipline, and the ability to bring solutions that others cannot. Value over availability also teaches you to set standards for yourself and for others. When you know your worth, you do not feel the need to be at every table or in every room. Instead, you create your own table, and people are drawn to sit with you because of what you bring. When you become valuable, people will wait for your time. They will respect your boundaries, and they will pay for your expertise because they understand that your contribution cannot be easily replaced. This is the mindset that turns a person from ordinary to extraordinary, from just being present to being powerful. Choosing value over availability also changes the way you view relationships, opportunities, and even your work ethic. You stop measuring your worth by how often you are called upon and start measuring it by the results you deliver. People respect results, not presence. You can show up every day and still go unnoticed if you don't bring value. On the other hand, you can show up less frequently, but leave such an impact that your absence is felt. This is the shift from chasing relevance to commanding it. Being valuable is about becoming the kind of person whose input changes outcomes, whose advice changes direction, and whose presence changes atmospheres. Value is built through a commitment to excellence, not through constant exposure. Excellence requires discipline, sacrifice, and the willingness to go above and beyond what is expected. The world is full of people who are available, but empty of depth. But there is always room at the top for those who have invested in themselves. When you make value your focus, you rise above competition because your uniqueness becomes your advantage. Your skills, knowledge, and character become your currency, and those who understand value will be drawn to what you bring. Availability may get you attention for a moment, but value will give you influence for a lifetime. To choose value over availability, you must embrace the discomfort of saying no to things that don't align with your growth. This is where many people struggle because they fear missing out or being forgotten. But the truth is, you are never forgotten when you are irreplaceable. People who constantly chase being seen often end up exhausted and overlooked because there's nothing that separates them from anyone else. But the person who invests time in mastery, who studies their field, who builds character and excellence, is never out of demand. They may not be in every room, but when they step into the right room, they own it. Value is not about doing more. It is about being more. It is about transforming yourself into someone whose presence is an answer, whose work is a solution, and whose contribution carries weight. It is about developing the courage to step back and focus on growth instead of constantly seeking validation. When you choose value over availability, you understand that your time is precious, your energy is powerful, and your skills are worth protecting. You stop trading your presence cheaply and start positioning yourself in a way that your presence is a privilege for others to experience. This principle applies to every area of life, from your career to your relationships to your personal development. If you are always accessible without distinction, people will treat you as common. But when you elevate your value, you elevate how people see you, treat you, and respond to you. The more you grow, the more selective you become about where you invest your time and energy, and that selectiveness is a reflection of your worth. You don't need to be everywhere, and you don't need to please everyone. Investing in yourself is the most powerful decision you can ever make, because everything in your life rises or falls based on your growth. Too often, people put all their time, energy, and money into things outside themselves, chasing material possessions, validation, or comfort, but they neglect the very source that produces all results, themselves. When you invest in yourself, you treat your mind, your skills, your health, and your character as your greatest assets. You begin to see yourself not just as someone going through life, but as someone building a life, brick by brick, with every decision you make. This shift in perspective transforms how you spend your time and how you approach opportunities, because you understand that the quality of your life will never exceed the quality of your personal development. Personal investment begins with your mindset, because the mind is where every breakthrough starts. What you feed your mind shapes how you think, and how you think shapes your actions. If your mind is filled with limitations, doubt, and negativity, no amount of effort will push you forward because your beliefs will sabotage your progress. This is why studying, reading, and surrounding yourself with wisdom is not optional, it is essential. Every book you read, every podcast you listen to, every mentor you learn from becomes a deposit into your future. The more you sharpen your thinking, the more opportunities you can see, and the more confidence you will have to seize them. Growth always begins internally before it ever shows up externally. Another critical aspect of investing in yourself is developing your skills. Your skills are your currency in a world that rewards value. When you commit to sharpening your abilities, you become more than just another face in the crowd. You become someone whose contributions matter. Skills are developed through repetition, discipline, and deliberate practice, not by hoping things will get easier. Every hour you spend mastering your craft adds to your worth, not just financially, but in the confidence and security it brings. The people who thrive in any field are not necessarily the most talented, but the most committed to becoming excellent. And excellence is always a byproduct of investment. Investing in yourself also requires you to prioritize your health because your mind and body are the vehicles through which your dreams are achieved. Too many people neglect their physical and mental well-being while chasing success, not realizing that their body is their foundation. If your health fails, every goal you have becomes harder to reach. Choosing to exercise, eat well, and take care of your mental health is not just about feeling good, it's about positioning yourself for longevity and sustained success. The more energy, focus, and strength you have, the more capable you become of turning opportunities into reality. Taking care of yourself physically is one of the most profound investments you can make because it affects every area of your life. Financial education is another layer of self-investment because money is a tool, and those who do not understand it often become enslaved by it. Investing in yourself means learning how to manage, multiply, and master your finances so you can create freedom rather than dependency. It's not just about earning money, but about developing the wisdom to make it work for you. When you study financial principles, learn to save, invest, and create multiple streams of income, you stop trading all your time for money and start building wealth that can outlast you. Financial literacy is a form of self-respect because it allows you to control your future instead of being controlled by circumstances. Surrounding yourself with the right people is another way to invest in yourself because your environment has a direct impact on your growth. If you are around people who don't challenge you, you will remain stagnant. But when you intentionally seek out mentors, coaches, and a circle of achievers, you rise to their level of thinking and action. The conversations you engage in, the habits you witness, and the mindset you absorb from others can either propel you forward or hold you back. Choosing your associations wisely is a form of self-investment because it forces you to level up and expand your vision beyond what you thought was possible. Time management is also a reflection of how much you invest in yourself. People who value themselves are intentional with their time because they understand that time is the only resource they can never get back. Every wasted hour is an opportunity lost, and every focused hour is a seed planted into the future. When you plan your days, set priorities, and create structure, you demonstrate self-respect and a commitment to your own success. Managing your time well is a sign that you see yourself as worth investing in because you refuse to let distractions steal your potential. Investing in yourself requires financial sacrifice because growth often costs money, but the return on that investment is priceless. Buying books, attending seminars, enrolling in courses, and hiring coaches are not expenses. They are investments in your ability to produce more. People who hesitate to spend money on personal growth often stay stuck because they don't realize that their current knowledge is what created their current results. To change your life, you have to change your input, and that often means paying for new knowledge and experiences that can shift your perspective. Every dollar you spend to upgrade yourself multiplies in ways you cannot always see immediately, but it always pays dividends over time. Emotional intelligence is another key area of self-investment because your ability to manage emotions, handle relationships, and respond to challenges determines how far you can go. Developing emotional maturity allows you to lead with wisdom rather than reaction. It helps you make better decisions, build stronger connections, and maintain resilience when life throws obstacles your way. People who fail to invest in their emotional growth often sabotage their own success because they cannot handle pressure or conflict. Learning to master your emotions is just as valuable as learning to master your skills because leadership and influence require a calm and confident spirit. The ultimate form of self-investment is discipline because no matter how much knowledge you acquire or how many resources you have, without discipline, you cannot maximize them. Discipline is what turns good intentions into consistent action. It is what separates those who dream from those who achieve. Building habits, setting standards, and committing to excellence every single day are acts of self-investment because they prove that you are serious about your future. Discipline is not about perfection, it's about persistence. It's about showing up for yourself over and over again until success is no longer an option, but a natural byproduct of who you have become through intentional growth. Opportunities are not something you chase, they are something you attract through the person you become. Many people spend their lives running after doors that remain closed because they have not developed the level of value or character needed to walk through them. When you focus on becoming excellent, opportunities begin to find you instead of you tirelessly pursuing them. The energy you carry, the skills you build, and the reputation you establish create a magnetic pull that brings the right connections, the right doors, and the right platforms your way. Opportunities are not about luck. They are about preparation, meeting the right moment. And preparation is a choice you make daily. To attract opportunities, you must cultivate an inner confidence that radiates from your actions and decisions. Confidence is not arrogance. It is certainty built through discipline and mastery. When people see that you are certain about who you are and what you bring to the table, they are drawn to you because confidence signals reliability and leadership. No one wants to hand an opportunity to someone who doubts themselves. The world naturally gravitates toward people who exude certainty, clarity, and direction, and those traits are developed through constant growth and consistent execution. Opportunities are attracted to problem solvers, not complainers. The more you focus on becoming someone who offers solutions instead of excuses, the more valuable you become in any environment. People are constantly seeking leaders, creators, and thinkers who can make their lives easier and their businesses better. When you train yourself to see solutions where others only see problems, you stand out, and that uniqueness draws opportunities. The world is full of people pointing out what's wrong. Very few dedicate themselves to fixing what's wrong. By being that person, you create a demand for your presence, skills, and wisdom without even asking for it. Your network is one of the most powerful ways to attract opportunities, but it is not about simply meeting more people. It's about becoming the kind of person others want to connect with. Networking without value leads to shallow relationships. But when you are valuable, people naturally want to associate with you, recommend you, and bring you into new spaces. The right connections will not come from trying to impress others, but from showing excellence consistently. Your reputation precedes you, and a strong reputation is built over time by showing integrity, delivering results, and treating people well. Opportunities are often hidden in relationships, and relationships are attracted to people who are trustworthy and excellent. Attracting opportunities also requires positioning yourself in environments where growth and success are the standard. You cannot attract opportunities if you are hiding in places where you are comfortable but stagnant. Placing yourself in challenging environments around people who inspire and push you naturally exposes you to opportunities that will never be found in your comfort zone. The higher you raise your personal standards, the more opportunities align with you, because opportunities are drawn to people who are prepared and ready to handle them. Positioning yourself strategically is part of the process of becoming magnetic to success. Another way to attract opportunities is through personal branding. Your brand is not just your appearance or your online presence. It is the experience people have when they encounter you. It is your character, your attitude, your work ethic, and your results. If you consistently present yourself as someone reliable, excellent, and impactful, opportunities will seek you out. People talk, and word of mouth spreads. Your brand is your silent ambassador. It speaks for you even when you are not in the room. Building a strong brand is not about being flashy. It is about being consistent and authentic in the way you present yourself and the way you deliver results. Opportunities are also attracted to consistency. Many people miss opportunities, not because they are not talented, but because they lack the discipline to show up daily and do the work. Consistency proves that you are serious, and seriousness creates trust. Trust is one of the key factors in whether opportunities are given to you. No one wants to take a risk on someone who is unpredictable or inconsistent. By showing up day after day, even when no one is watching, you position yourself as someone who can be counted on, and people are always looking for those they can count on. Consistency is a magnet because it builds credibility over time. Being adaptable and open to learning is another powerful way to attract opportunities. The world is constantly changing, and those who are willing to evolve with it always stand out. If you resist growth or refuse to learn new skills, opportunities will pass you by because you are not ready to handle them. But if you have a reputation for being resourceful and willing to learn, people are more likely to trust you with opportunities because they know you will find a way to succeed. Opportunities are drawn to problem solvers, innovators, and people who are willing to stretch themselves beyond their comfort zones to deliver results. Attracting opportunities also requires you to align yourself with a clear vision. Vision creates focus, and focus creates momentum. When you are clear about who you are, what you want, and where you are going, the right opportunities begin to align with your goals because your clarity makes it easy for others to know how to help you and where you fit. Without vision, you can be busy but unproductive, available but overlooked. People are more willing to invest in those who have a clear direction because clarity communicates leadership and intentionality. Vision is a magnet for opportunities because it shows that you are not just moving, but moving with purpose. Ultimately, attracting opportunity is a natural byproduct of becoming the best version of yourself. When you dedicate yourself to growth, excellence, And character, you do not have to beg for doors to open. They open because you are ready for them. People notice preparation, they notice excellence, and they notice confidence. The more you work on yourself, the more opportunities find you, because success is not about luck, but about alignment. When preparation and purpose meet, opportunities appear almost effortlessly, but the truth is they were always there, waiting for you to rise to the level where you could see and seize them. To be irreplaceable means to become so valuable, so skilled, and so unique in what you bring that you cannot be overlooked or easily substituted. It is not about titles, positions, or recognition, but about building yourself into someone whose presence changes outcomes. The person who becomes irreplaceable is the one who has invested countless hours refining their abilities, mastering their craft, and building a reputation for excellence. When people see you as irreplaceable, they are not just impressed by what you do, they are impacted by who you are. Becoming irreplaceable is not about being perfect, but about being intentional in every step you take to grow beyond mediocrity and into mastery. Those who are irreplaceable are not always the loudest or the most visible, but they are the ones whose contributions speak louder than their words. When you deliver results consistently and bring value that others cannot, you naturally stand out. You don't have to ask for respect because excellence commands it. People gravitate toward individuals they can trust to perform at a high level, and that trust is built through dedication, consistency, and integrity. Being irreplaceable means that others see you as someone they cannot afford to lose because you are not easily duplicated. It is the depth of your knowledge, your reliability, and your ability to bring transformation that makes you stand apart. Becoming irreplaceable requires that you develop a mindset of constant growth. The moment you stop learning and evolving, you make it easier for someone else to replace you. Irreplaceable people are students for life. They are always seeking ways to sharpen their skills, improve their thinking, and increase their value. They do not settle for what they already know or have achieved because they understand that the world is constantly changing, and only those who adapt will remain relevant. This hunger for growth is what keeps them ahead of the curve, making them an asset wherever they go. When you prioritize learning and development, you position yourself as someone who is always in demand. Being irreplaceable also means that you operate with a level of excellence that others are unwilling to match. Many people do just enough to get by, but those who stand out are the ones who go above and beyond, even when no one is watching. They set their own standard of quality, refusing to lower it to meet the expectations of others. Excellence becomes their identity, not just an occasional act. This level of commitment separates you from the masses because while anyone can be present, not everyone can deliver exceptional results. When you make excellence your personal standard, people begin to see you as essential rather than optional. Another key to being irreplaceable is building strong relationships based on trust and integrity. Skills may open doors, but character keeps them open. Irreplaceable individuals are not only known for what they do, but also for how they do it. They are reliable, trustworthy, and consistent in their word and actions. This kind of reputation cannot be bought or faked. It is earned over time. When people know they can depend on you, they will choose you over others every time, even if others have similar qualifications. Your integrity becomes a part of your brand, and that makes you stand out in a world where reliability is rare. To be irreplaceable, you must also cultivate a level of creativity and problem-solving ability that sets you apart. The ability to think outside the box and provide innovative solutions is one of the most valuable skills in any field. Many people can follow instructions, but few can create strategies, solve problems, and bring new ideas that change the game. If you become someone who can provide answers where others see obstacles, your value multiplies. Organizations, teams, and individuals will always seek out people who can think critically and creatively because they are rare, and rarity is the foundation of being irreplaceable. Irreplaceable individuals also understand the power of discipline and consistency. It is not what you do once that makes you valuable. It is what you do consistently over time. Consistency builds trust and credibility, two things that make you difficult to replace. While others may be talented, they often lack the discipline to deliver consistently. The person who shows up every day, brings results, and operates at a high level without fail becomes a pillar that others rely on. This kind of consistency makes you an indispensable part of any environment because people know they can depend on you regardless of the circumstances. Being irreplaceable is also about developing emotional intelligence and leadership skills. You cannot become truly irreplaceable if you do not know how to lead yourself and others effectively. Emotional intelligence allows you to navigate relationships, manage conflict, and inspire those around you. Leaders are rare because they require a level of maturity, empathy, and wisdom that most people never develop. If you become someone who can guide others, remain calm under pressure, and create an atmosphere of trust and respect, you will always be in demand. True leadership is not given by position, but earned through influence. And influence is what makes people see you as invaluable. In addition to leadership, being irreplaceable means being resourceful and adaptable. The world is constantly changing, and those who can pivot, learn, and adjust are the ones who thrive. Resourcefulness is the ability to make things happen even when resources are limited, and this ability sets you apart from the crowd. People value those who can create solutions no matter the circumstances, and this skill makes you a vital asset. When others panic in the face of change or challenges, the irreplaceable person remains steady and finds a way forward. Adaptability ensures that no matter how the world evolves, you will always have a place because you have developed the ability to remain relevant. Ultimately, being irreplaceable is about becoming a person of such depth, excellence, and character that your contribution cannot be matched. It is about refusing to settle for mediocrity and choosing to stand out through relentless growth, creativity, and integrity. When you dedicate yourself to mastery, when you become a solution rather than a problem, when you lead with wisdom and consistency, you create a reputation that makes you indispensable. People will always remember those who go beyond expectations, those who inspire trust, and those who bring undeniable value to every room they enter. Shifting the atmosphere begins with understanding that you carry influence everywhere you go, whether you realize it or not. Every word you speak, every action you take, and every bit of energy you bring contributes to the environment around you. Some people walk into a room and immediately drain the energy, while others step in and light up the entire space without saying a word. This is the power of presence. To shift the atmosphere, you must first become intentional about the energy you carry and the mindset you project. You have the ability to set the tone in your home, your workplace, and your relationships by being aware that your presence either elevates or diminishes the atmosphere. People often underestimate how much of an impact they have on others simply by how they show up. If you enter a room with confidence, peace, and focus, that energy spreads and others respond to it. The same is true if you walk in with negativity, fear, or chaos. Those emotions spread just as quickly. Learning to shift the atmosphere starts with mastering yourself. It means cultivating inner calm even when chaos surrounds you, carrying joy when others are discouraged, and bringing hope when situations feel hopeless. When you make a conscious decision to lead with positive energy and strength, you naturally influence those around you, and that influence gives you the power to change environments. To shift the atmosphere, you must carry a vision that is stronger than the circumstances. Environments are often shaped by external factors like stress, deadlines, conflict, or fear, but a person with vision can walk into any setting and bring clarity and direction. Vision provides stability in uncertain situations, and people are drawn to stability. When you become someone who can bring focus to a chaotic environment, you instantly stand out as a leader. Shifting the atmosphere is not about being loud or dominant. It is about being grounded and intentional, creating a sense of purpose that inspires others to rise to a higher standard. Another key to shifting the atmosphere is the language you use. Words are powerful, and they carry weight that can build or destroy the energy in a room. When you speak encouragement, faith, and wisdom, you uplift the people around you and create an environment where others feel safe and empowered to succeed. Negative language, on the other hand, breeds doubt, fear, and division. Those who can shift atmospheres understand the importance of speaking with intention, choosing words that elevate rather than diminish. You can't expect to create a positive environment if your words constantly carry negativity. So you must train yourself to use language as a tool to inspire and lead. Shifting the atmosphere also requires emotional control because people are influenced by how you respond to situations. If you panic under pressure, others will feel anxious. If you remain calm and composed, others will feel safe. This is why emotional intelligence is one of the most powerful skills you can develop. It allows you to bring balance to environments that are unsteady. Your ability to regulate your emotions, stay focused under stress, and handle challenges with grace will always set you apart. People will look to you for guidance, not because you always have the answers, but because you know how to create an atmosphere where solutions can be found. Leadership plays a significant role in shifting the atmosphere because environments naturally follow the energy of their leaders. Even if you are not in a formal leadership position, you can still lead by example. The way you carry yourself sets a standard for others. Leaders who consistently bring positivity, excellence, and integrity create environments where others feel inspired to match that same energy. Shifting the atmosphere is about raising the bar, showing others through your behavior what is possible, and creating a space where excellence becomes contagious. When you lead by example, your presence becomes a catalyst for transformation wherever you go. Shifting an atmosphere often means confronting negativity and refusing to allow it to dominate. This takes courage because it is easier to blend into an environment than to stand out and change it. However, people who shift atmospheres understand that influence requires boldness. They are willing to speak truth when others stay silent, to address problems when others ignore them, and to bring light into dark situations. This type of influence earns respect because it demonstrates strength of character. When others see that you will not compromise your values or allow negativity to take over, they begin to adjust their own behavior in your presence. Gratitude and appreciation are powerful tools for shifting the atmosphere because they create a culture of respect and positivity. When you are intentional about expressing gratitude, celebrating others' contributions, and recognizing excellence, You create a sense of belonging and motivation. People thrive in environments where they feel valued, and when you become a person who acknowledges others and spreads appreciation, you naturally lift the atmosphere. Gratitude changes perspectives, and a shift in perspective changes behavior. By leading with thankfulness, you create an environment that draws out the best in people. Consistency is another key factor because atmospheres are shaped not just by one moment, but by repeated behaviors over time. If you only bring positivity and leadership occasionally, your influence will be limited. But if you are consistent in your energy, your language, and your actions, people will begin to rely on your presence as a stabilizing force. Environments thrive on predictability, and when you consistently bring strength, encouragement, and clarity, you become the anchor that others look to for direction. Shifting the atmosphere is not about occasional effort, but about a lifestyle of intentional influence. Ultimately, shifting the atmosphere is about deciding who you want to be before you step into any environment. It is about carrying yourself with intention, choosing to lead through your presence, and refusing to allow external circumstances to dictate your internal state. The person who has mastered this ability becomes a thermostat rather than a thermometer. They don't just reflect the environment, they set it. They understand that their presence is powerful, their words carry weight, and their energy is contagious. By showing up prepared, grounded, and focused, they bring transformation to every space they enter and create a ripple effect that inspires others to rise to their highest potential. Commitment to daily growth is the decision to never settle for who you were yesterday and to constantly push yourself toward becoming a better version of yourself every single day. Growth is not an event, it is a process, a journey that requires discipline, focus, and a willingness to embrace discomfort. Many people desire success, but are not willing to commit to the consistent effort it takes to grow. They want breakthroughs without the daily grind, results without the process, but true growth doesn't happen that way. It is built one choice at a time, one action at a time, and one discipline day after another. Daily growth is not optional for those who want to achieve greatness. It is the foundation on which success is built. Daily growth requires humility because it means acknowledging that no matter how much you know or how far you've come, there is always more to learn. This humility keeps you hungry and open to new lessons, new strategies, and new perspectives. Those who believe they have arrived often stop growing, and the moment you stop growing, you start declining. Growth-minded individuals understand that every day presents an opportunity to become stronger, wiser, and more capable. They see themselves as lifelong students of life, never satisfied with staying at the same level, always seeking to elevate their thinking and their actions, to commit to daily growth. You must also be intentional about your habits, because habits are the silent architects of your future. The small decisions you make consistently have a greater impact on your life than the big decisions you make occasionally. Reading a few pages of a book every day, exercising consistently, practicing your craft regularly, and taking time to reflect daily may not seem like much in the moment, but over time, these small disciplines separate the extraordinary from the ordinary. Growth doesn't happen in bursts of effort. It happens through steady, consistent practice that compounds over time and produces remarkable results. Daily growth requires you to challenge yourself beyond what feels comfortable. Comfort zones are where growth goes to die because nothing changes when you are at ease. To grow daily, you must intentionally put yourself in situations that stretch you. This could mean taking on new responsibilities, learning new skills, or facing fears you've been avoiding. Growth always lies outside of comfort. And those who commit to daily growth understand that pain and discomfort are part of the process. They embrace challenges because they know that every challenge is an opportunity to strengthen their character and increase their capacity. The process of daily growth is also about discipline because you will not always feel motivated to do what is necessary. Motivation is fleeting, but discipline is a choice that becomes a habit. Those who grow consistently are not necessarily the most talented, but they are the most disciplined. They wake up early to study when no one else is watching. They practice their craft even when they are tired, and they push themselves when others have quit. Discipline is what separates those who wish for growth from those who achieve it, because daily growth is the result of doing the right things even when it's inconvenient or uncomfortable. Daily growth also requires focus because distractions will always compete for your attention. The world is filled with noise, but those who grow consistently are those who learn how to silence the distractions and focus on their goals. They understand the power of saying no to things that do not align with their vision and yes to the things that will take them closer to their purpose. Focus creates momentum, and momentum creates transformation. Without focus, growth is inconsistent and slow, but when you are laser focused on improving yourself daily, your results compound and become unstoppable. Another critical aspect of committing to daily growth is self-awareness. Growth begins with an honest understanding of where you are now, what your weaknesses are, and what areas need improvement. Many people resist self-reflection because it forces them to confront uncomfortable truths. But those who grow daily embrace self-awareness because they know it is the first step toward change. They assess their progress, evaluate their decisions, and hold themselves accountable for their actions. This level of honesty allows them to make adjustments quickly and stay on track, making growth a continuous process rather than a sporadic one. Daily growth also involves surrounding yourself with the right influences because you cannot grow in an environment that is toxic, complacent, or limiting. The people you spend time with either push you forward or pull you back. If you want to grow daily, you must be intentional about surrounding yourself with people who inspire you, challenge you, and hold you to a higher standard. Growth-minded individuals seek out mentors, leaders, and communities that push them beyond their comfort zones. They understand that growth is not just a personal effort, but also a product of being in the right environment. Another key part of growth is embracing failure as a teacher rather than a setback. Many people avoid growth because they fear failure, but failure is not the opposite of growth. It is a part of it. Every mistake, every obstacle, and every challenge carries a lesson that can propel you forward if you are willing to learn from it. Daily growth requires you to see failure as feedback, to analyze what went wrong, and to use that knowledge to get better. Those who grow daily don't fear failure because they know every failure brings them closer to mastery. Committing to daily growth is ultimately about adopting a mindset of continuous improvement. It means waking up every day with the intention to be better than you were yesterday in every area of life, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Growth is not something you do once a year or once in a while. It is a decision you make every day. The people who achieve greatness are not necessarily the most gifted or the most fortunate, but they are the ones who commit to getting better every single day, regardless of how small the improvement may seem. Over time, those small improvements create massive transformation, and that transformation becomes the foundation for success in every area of life.